Good morning, boys and girls. We're going to read the next 3 chapters in our Read Aloud The Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. Chapter 49. We're getting close to the end here. Now then, Charles, said Mr. Lemoncello, would you like to utilize any of your remaining lifelines, perhaps an extreme challenge, and ask an expert? Yes, sir, said Charles. And may I just say, it's kind of you to come in here and ask me that question. Well, it's cloudy with a chance of meatballs, and I had nothing better to do. Pardon? Oh, nothing, just a brief flight of fancy, my mind sailing past the phantom toll booth. So, which lifeline would you like to use? My ask an expert, sir. Fine, see Mrs. Taubin at the main desk. I must go to my office to monitor Kyle's extreme challenge. What's he doing? Well, trying to beat you. Toodles. Mr. Lemoncello raised his beret by its stem, turned on his heel, and headed for one of the bookcases on the far side of the rotunda. Charles watched him tilt back the head of a bust and push a red button in the middle of what would have been the man's neck. A door-sized section of the bookcase swung open. Mr. Lemoncello stepped inside the darkness. The bookcase swung shut. Charles hurried to the librarian's desk at the center of the rotunda reading room. Mrs. Taubin! He clapped his hands. Mrs. Taubin, chop, chop, I'm in a bit of a rush. The doors upstairs will be open in 13 minutes. Mrs. Taubin. A holographic librarian finally appeared. Good morning, Charles. How may I help you? I need to use my Ask an Expert. Very well. Whom do you wish to consult with? Someone who knows his way around a library. If that's all you require, Charles, perhaps I can be of assistance. I need to talk to my Uncle Jimmy. Your Uncle Jimmy? Could you please be more specific? Yes, of course. James F. Willoughby III. The James F. Willoughby III? Yes, ma'am. The head librarian of the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. is your uncle? That's right. If my mother's brother, Uncle Jimmy, the top librarian in all of America, can't help me find the one book I'm looking for, nobody can. Chapter 50. The memory box is down in the stacks, Haley told Kyle, so he raced down to the basement. The very long, very wide cellar was just as he remembered it, filled with tidy rows of floor-to-ceiling shelving units. Kyle looked up at the closest security camera. Where to next? I hid it way over on the far side, said Haley through the speakers, on a shelf near that horrible book sorting machine. Kyle hurried up the center aisle, and suddenly a heavy metal bookcase thundered from the right, sliding like it was on roller skates. Watch it, shouted Haley. The bookcase skidded to a screeching halt, blocking Kyle's path forward. Go left, suggested Miguel. The whole team was watching and cheering him on. Kyle went left, and another steel shelving unit shuffled in front from the side. Jump back, shouted Kimmy. The shelf slammed to a stop 2 inches in front of Kyle's feet. Kyle, are you okay? Yeah, this is like the hedge maid in Triwizard Tournament, said Sierra. Huh? Harry Potter, Book 4, Goblet of Fire. Right, need to read that one too. Kyle, of course, realized he just discovered the most extreme part of his extreme challenge. Each one of the sliding floor-to-ceiling bookcases was loaded down with heavy cardboard cartons, books, or metal storage bins. They probably weighed several tons each. If Kyle was in the wrong place when a shelving unit came shooting in from the side, he'd be flattened like a pancake under a steamroller. Warning, announced the official-sounding lady in the ceiling. You have 12 minutes to complete this challenge. He had to keep going. Like Mr. Lemoncello said, there was no turning back now. Unless, of course, he wanted to go home a loser. Ha! Never. Kyle jogged up an alleyway between 2 walls of bookshelves. Left turn, Haley shouted. Now! The wall on Kyle's right swung open, revealing 6 swiveling sections, each pivoting panel, maybe 20 feet long, all skittering sideways and gliding backward to create new walls and reconfigured pathways. You've got only like 10 more yards to go, coached Haley. Kyle weaved his way around the randomly shuffling shelves. But as soon as he was on any kind of straightaway, the walls started to rearrange themselves again. Finally, Kyle scooted down a corridor so tight he had to turn sideways to squeeze through. The walls shuddered to a stop, and a voice made another announcement. Warning, you have 8 minutes to complete this challenge. I'm trapped, shouted Kyle. There's no exit. None of his teammates said anything for a real long time. But then finally, Sierra's voice rang out from the overhead speakers. Put your hand on the right wall, she said. What? Why? When I was little, I played a lot of maze games. If the walls are connected, all you have to do is keep one hand in contact with the wall at all times, and eventually you'll reach the exit or return to the entrance. Do it, coached Akimi. It'll work, bro, added Miguel. So Kyle kept his right hand firmly planted on the right wall of shelves and started inching his way forward. Go, Kyle, cheered Haley. Hug that wall, hug that wall. The passageway widened. Kyle kept his hands glued to the right wall and went around corners, through switchbacks, and finally he stepped into an opening near the book return conveyor belt. You made it, shouted Haley. Woo-hoo! The shelves streamed back into their orderly church pew positions. Good, said Kyle. Getting out should be easier than getting in. Where's the box, Haley? I put it on the shelf. Which one? That one. Warning, announced the calm female voice in the ceiling. You have 3 minutes to complete this challenge. Kyle stared up at a camera. Haley, what exactly am I looking for? A cardboard box in a drawer. Okay, there's like a billion of those. I flagged it with a piece of pink tissue. Kyle raced to the shelf. 2 minutes, announced the calm lady. This one, said Kyle. Yes, look in the steel drawer. I thought you said it was cardboard. It is. Open the lid. Not that lid, the other one. This one? No, the one under it. 1 minute. Hurry, Kyle. I'm hurrying. Flip it open. Kyle did as he was told. He flipped the lid on the steel drawer and found a battered boot box. Every member of Kyle's team shouted the same thing. Grab it! And run, added Akimi. Kyle did. He tucked the boot box under his arm and ran like he had never run before. He sprinted across the basement floor. He raced up the steps 2 at a time. And when he hit the rotunda, his heart was pounding against his ribs. 30 seconds. Kyle's speed skated across the marble floor. It was so slippery that he lost his balance. He fell forward. He dropped the box. It flew out of his hands. It hit the slick floor and slid like a hockey puck across the threshold into community meeting room B. A buzzer sounded. Time is up, announced the calm voice. Yo, shouted Miguel. You made it, bro. And Kyle started breathing again. Chapter 51. Having made his request, all Charles could do was wait. Apparently, said Mr. Lemoncello when he came back into the rotunda, your Uncle Jimmy is a very, very busy man. Reminds me of a spider I once knew. But it is Sunday morning. We will attempt to track him down at home. Thank you, sir. I told Uncle Jimmy to stand by, that I might need him this weekend. And now, whoosh, he's as elusive as the wind in the willows. You'll have to discuss this with him the next time your family gets together for Thanksgiving dinner. Now, if you'll excuse me, it is currently 9:58 a.m., almost time to reopen the Dewey Decimal Chambers. Mr. Lemoncello opened a filing cabinet and pulled out a megaphone. Is there some room you should be ready to run to? Isn't there some clue or book you need to go find? Just one, said Charles, and I need my Uncle Jimmy to tell me which one it is. Will you be looking for him? Will you keep looking for him, please? Of course, Mr. Lemoncello pointed to a smudge on Charles's shirt. If you like, I will also have Al Capone do your shirts. All Charles could do was nod and smile and wonder when Al Capone had opened a laundry. That's the end for today. We have 52. We're on chapter 52 out of 56, so we'll be finished very soon.